Good afternoon. How are you? Oh, we got the Tuscany setting sun here. It's just gorgeous, the kind of yellowish colors. It's cold out, but we do have the sun, and that's nice, no wind. The early societies or civilizations spent a lot of time talking about what kind of person should be in public office. And there are some really stringent tests, Plato and Aristotle had their own bouts at it. Through time, there have been people in Rome and Greece who suggested what the outline of a public servant could be, one who would have the interests of the public that he or she served, although it was mostly he for many centuries, with certain exceptions. Isabella, in charge of sending ships to the New World. I focused a little bit on somebody I've always thought has been overlooked a lot, and that was John Quincy Adams. At a very young age, single digits, he was going around the world with John Adams, the great patriot from Massachusetts, who participated in the Continental Congress and then the special sessions by which a Declaration of Independence was written. And he was abroad when the Constitution was being written, as was Thomas Jefferson. But through this entire period, who was with John Adams? Well, not all the time. He had separate tours, but John Quincy Adams. And it was very interesting. His dad had him studying languages, studying history, studying the great orators, compelling him to write, compelling him to keep a diary, asking him to establish a frame of reference for what made him a public servant. And ironically, he was a person who was very innovative before he was president, did amazing things in diplomacy. And then he was quite responsible, respectable, and made real contributions after he was president and went back to Congress and sat in the back benches. The thin volume of Profiles in Courage by Jack Kennedy has a chapter devoted to him, and it's him fighting against slavery. So what does that have to do with today? The question is, where are these people today? Why can't they find a standard of public behavior that doesn't make us gag, that doesn't make us question their real motives? Yeah, I'm talking about our Attorney General, who, to my way of thinking, has failed his promise, has failed his office, and may contribute to the compromise of democracy for his failures to exalt his oath and to prosecute Trump now. And there are people out there, all sorts of wishful thinking that Jack Smith is going to come and save the day. Well, as some have said, if on January the 7th, either the old administration in the Justice Department or after Biden was sworn in later that month, somebody had said, let's investigate that guy. But they didn't. They investigated the rabble, the destroyers, the people who came to take down the Capitol, to kidnap Pelosi, to perhaps hang the vice president. That's what they were about. But not the ringleaders. So there's no way he could ever recover, in my eyes, from the shame of his failure. And I suggest that he should leave office of his own weight. It tells us that it was probably a big mistake that he was nominated for the Supreme Court, because we didn't understand what a failure he is. And it's not just because people were on the bench that they're like this. We have had people that have gone to and from the bench. I was a senior associate in a law firm in New York. Herb Prashker had clerked on the Supreme Court for Associate Justice Jackson. Jackson not only, I scared a car apparently. Jackson not only was an Associate Justice, but he went and participated in the Nuremberg trials. So it can be done. So am I saying Jack Smith can't do it? He's infected by the company, the delay, the means by which he comes as an excuse for Attorney General Garland not personally to act, although he has control over the final decision. So what are we to do as citizens when we have such a failure? We can't be thankful in the period of time as we approach Thanksgiving. We can be encouraged. We have a new lease on saving our democracy because, well, the Republicans don't have control. But we have the potential to seize defeat from the jaws of a minor victory. And that should be concerning to us. So do we adjust ourselves and say, what does it matter? No. We do what Churchill advised. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Repeat, repeat, repeat. If it's right and it's true, keep saying it. The Republicans have gotten that message, but they repeat lies and hate and discriminatory memes and value people little or not at all. And that's not what we're about, not as a nation, nor is it something one can aspire to. You can't aspire to being a tortured, soulless miscreant with ambitions of being a great historical treasonous monster. Yes, I'm talking about Trump and his associates. So, we, the people, have got to brush ourselves off and resume the fight. The most immediate one is that we do what we can in Georgia. Send $5, $10 if you haven't. If you know somebody in Georgia, call them up and tell them to make sure they vote and they get their whole block to vote. But over time, we have to see what the failures are of our government, and we have to comment on it. And we have to comment strongly, because we are the voice of the nation at a time when the character of a John Quincy Adams is hard to find anywhere in modern politics. And in fact, we have plenty of examples of weakness and cowardice and fear and terror and phony rules that prevent people from acting as is necessary in a democracy consistent with their oath. Garland again. But he's not the only one. And they're on both sides of the aisle. The Democrats, I guess some are afraid that if they don't seem to have the taste of Trump's views, that they can't be elected. And the Republicans certainly believe that, and some of them embrace wholeheartedly everything that Trump stands for. They enjoy the fact that we no longer whisper our discrimination, our inequality, our failure to progress, our failure to believe in the participation of all people. So, it's up to us. So as we go into Thanksgiving and eat a hearty meal, we have to trim our sails and prepare to make the changes ourselves, to be at the gate demanding more, better than we get. And we have to be an example in how we conduct our part of this debate for the politicians who fail to conduct themselves anything like the Greeks and the Romans, the finest among them, and of John Quincy Adams. So that's my wandering take today on this chilly day, in which I had a lot of fun with our pigs. We fed them pumpkins. I mean, you're the best person in the world. You give a pig a pumpkin, and I got to swing an axe into the harder pumpkin so I could break it open for the pigs. And Holly was right out there. And I think one of the best things for her recovery, don't let her know I said so, is her association with our animals and what she can do. She can't any longer garden. She has to be careful what she does in the out of doors. But I happen to believe that what she's doing and what we're doing right now, walking outside, breathing this air, is one of the best things you can do for yourself, particularly in these trying times when we have so many who are short of anything like heroic or patriotic. So here I am in my cathedral of trees, and I bid you farewell until tomorrow. Bye-bye.